Hi everyone, here's my take on a quick, easy, and affordable Halloween costume inspired by the Greek goddess Aphrodite. This is a fun costume to do and extremely simple if you have some of these products already on hand, and it's very affordable even if you don't have some already. I think the most difficult thing to figure out was those little diamante things at the end of my eyes. So for my makeup, I start out by priming my eyes. This makes my eyeshadow last longer and be more pigmented. And then I went in with a silvery blue eyeshadow across my lid. Blue and icy blue are some of Aphrodite's colors. I'm just using that on a relatively fluffy eyeshadow brush to apply it all across my lid and slightly up into my crease. That is kind of my base shade. Then I'm going in with a matte gray eyeshadow. And I'm going to lightly sketch this through my crease to add my depth and definition, and as my beginning transition shade, I'm just using that on kind of a fat pencil brush. Then I'm going in with kind of a neutral / warm brown eyeshadow. This is also matte, and that is my transition shade, which is going to start fading it out to my brow bone color. So I'm going just a little bit above that gray with a fluffier crease brush. And this look is a lot of blending, reapplying, blending, reapplying. Then I'm going in with a slightly more cornflower pearl. It's a very interesting color. It's kind of hard to describe, but I'm taking that with another pencil brush and applying it to the outer, say third of my eye to add a little bit more of the blue tone and a little bit more depth. I'm doing a couple of light layers of that to build up the intensity. Then I'm going in with kind of a beautiful pearl eyeshadow, and this is going to be my highlight shade. Obviously this works well for my skin tone. If your skin tone is slightly different from mine, I might suggest one that isn't quite so frosty, but pearl is another symbol of hers, so it kind of worked in. I was tying my eyeshadow with the symbolism. I was having fun. Then I'm going in with a silvery blue. It has a hint of gold too. It's another complicated shade, but it's kind of useless actually. I use my finger and a small fluffy brush to try and apply that as my inner corner highlight. Then I'm going in with kind of my favorite thing, which is a gorgeous sparkle shade. Now silver is more of a color of Aphrodite than gold, but this is what I had on hand, and it adds a lot of sparkle and iridescence to the eye look and really makes it pop. So I used what I had. If you had silver though, I might recommend that. This totally works though with the gold jewelry and with the rest of the gold tones in the eyeshadows. I'm going back in just to soften some of those lines once again with that brown eyeshadow. Then I took a primer. Any primer that works with your skin will do. This is just a straight up basic primer. Again, it helps your makeup last longer if you have the right skin type, and it helps the foundation go on a little bit more smoothly. Then I'm also taking a pearlescent. It's not really a primer, it's not really a highlighter, it just kind of gives a nice glow to your skin. Again, I was playing off the pearl theme. I had a whole thing going on here, and it helps make your skin look a little bit healthier and more radiant, so it all works. Then I'm using a foundation. Use whatever works for you. This one is just literally the only one I currently own, and I am patting that on my face with a kind of fluffy blending brush, for lack of a better term. I don't know what the company wants to call it, and I'm just going to pat it on to apply it and then buff it in circular motions. Make sure you get your ears and your neck so you all match. Then I'm taking a stick concealer. I really like stick concealer for blemishes. I find it usually covers very well and looks more like skin typically. This isn't my favorite in the world. I prefer a tart one, but it works. I'm also going around my nose where there's any redness. Then I'm going in with a fluffier, again, it's almost like a gigantic pencil brush to buff around the edges and kind of just pat that product in so it blends in with my skin. I'm also buffing it around my nose a little bit to make sure it is well blended on that area, which is kind of a tricky place to get. I'm finally taking a color corrector, kind of a peachy salmon shade, underneath my eyes to cancel out the blue tones. Where I'm using blue eyeshadow, I don't want to have the blue tones showing through and making me look even more tired than I am. And I'm then going in with a damp beauty sponge back and forth to blend it in and make sure there won't be any creasing. I'm following up with more of a cream concealer as opposed to the stick concealer where my under eyes are naturally drier. I don't want to use a dry concealer, it won't blend as well. I'm just applying that straight from the tube, and then going back in with that fluffy fat pencil brush and buffing it in. I kind of go back and forth and pat and buff. I really want it to be well blended. And same deal with the sponge. And I'm just taking a powder, any powder you have will do, of course, and patting across my entire face to set all those cream products so I can go in with some powder on top of it. Then I'm taking a iridescent bronzer. This is a little bit more warm and glittery if you wanted to contour, but I just wanted to warm up my face and add some color. It does add a little bit of definition, but it isn't true contouring. Knock yourself out if that's something you want to do. I just wasn't really interested in it, and I don't contour on a day-to-day basis anyway. I then take a clean stippling brush on top of the one I already used to blend out any edges. Then I'm going in with a very pale, very icy blush. I love this. It has a ton of glitter in it. For something like this, I love using a lot of glitter. I think it's fun because I don't use it in my day-to-day life. So I'm applying that from the apples of my cheeks backwards, blending into the bronzer I already applied. Feel free to substitute a different color if you're more comfortable. And then I'm going in with a highlight. This one is a bit more gold tone than I would necessarily want. Again, it kind of fit in with the colors I was using, but I would have preferred a slightly more silvery or even a blue one, which I think would have been kind of pretty. But this is what I had available, and this is one of my more intensely pigmented, shiny ones, so that's what I wanted to go for. I also hit the top of my cupid's bow, there are multiples, and the chaps of my cheekbones. I can't talk, it's late at night. And then I'm going back in with a little bit of that earlier silvery blue, the idolized in the inner corner and slightly underneath. Then I'm basically repeating the steps I already used. Yes, I said repleting. And using the blue shades from lightest to the darker tones along my eyes. Then I'm going in with a more royal blue. Is that what you want to call it? And I'm taking out that same little detail brush, and I actually went back in off camera and added more of that to intensify it. You can kind of see in the photos at the beginning. And then I'm taking kind of a matte blue-black, and I'm using that to deepen up my outer crease. Again, off camera, I had a little bit more depth when I looked at it myself in the mirror. I thought it needed a bit more intensity and a bit more drama, so just build up to what you find flattering or what level of intensity you are comfortable with. And then I took a matte cream eyeshadow. Again, I would recommend one that is within your natural skin tone. This one just kind of matches me well enough because I'm very pale at the moment, and I'm just buffing around the edges to make sure everything is well blended and there aren't any harsh lines. And I wanted a little bit more highlight on my brow bone, so I just went back in with the original pearl shade. Then I'm using a gray black, not a true black, but a gray black eyeliner and a very fine eyeliner brush to do a relatively thin cat eye. Actually, it's not particularly thick. I just like a little bit of extension, and it helps hide the false lash band. So you can do a more intense one, obviously, if that's what you wanted to do. And I'm also tightening my upper lash line. Again, I don't want to have any skin kind of poking through. Then I am applying mascara. You probably don't have to go hardcore on the mascara if you're going to apply false eyelashes. I was trying to cheat and not have to apply false eyelashes, but I couldn't get enough mascara on, so I just did my top and bottom lashes. Then I'm going to brush my brows up and into place and use a brow pomade, and I just pretty much sketch it in. I'm not doing anything super special. I align the bottom, extend the tail, flick upwards at the front of the brow to give a little bit of a softer effect, and that's how the hairs grow there naturally, and give myself a bit more of an arch because God did not see fit to bless me with an arched eyebrow. Then I'm going in with what is a nude lip for me. Again, if you want a nude lip, just go with whatever's close to your skin tone. And I'm going to, I don't think I'm even really shading outside the lines, basically. I'm kind of just following my own natural lip line. How boring. And I'm going to fill my entire lip in. Again, this is great if you're going to be out partying. I sure as hell won't be, but it lasts longer and it's not going to be noticeable if it wears off. And I just topped that with a peachy, goldy glitter. Yeah, I'm using gold glitter here, just go with it. Lip gloss. It actually isn't that bad when you see all of it together. And that's my 800th work email while I was filming this. Then I'm sticking some little diamantes at the outside corner of my eyes. Believe it or not, these came with some Impress fake nails. They work perfectly though. I don't know where else to get them. You could just use regular crystals and lash glue if that's what you have to hand. I'm finishing with a finishing spray. duh, it's kind of in the title. This is a matte one. It's not great. I prefer the Urban Decays, but this is the one I have at the moment. Then I'm topping off this look with some Urban Decay eyelashes and a little bit of Duo Lash Glue. I still say I look like Lamb Chop, the hand puppet from like the 80s and 90s wearing these things, but other people said they worked, so leave a comment down below if you think I look like Lamb Chop or if you think these work. They're not my favorite, but I got them and I decided to use them, so I think it worked for the look. I mean, goddamn, there's drama there. You can't deny that. That's the completed look. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll talk to you soon.
Cucaracha, oh cucaracha, da 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 da, do do do. My shadow. Moses supposes his doses are roses, but noses supposes erroneously. Moses, he knows his doses are roses. It's Moses supposes his doses to be Moses. Moses.